Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 25 of the Railcraft server Let's Play. And I have discovered a pretty severe issue with this system, although it's not really urgent to fix because there is a supply of mulch here. But the issue is that the moistener keeps clogging up. It's also run out of water because the pipes have stopped working again. But that's an easy fix. But this bit here keeps running out of wheat. Or, no, it keeps filling up with wheat, I mean. And that means that this item here can't be output into here. So this needs to have at least one slot open at all times. Now, I'm thinking that a solution to that is to have a kind of a buffer and control it with redstone so that it doesn't fill up. And I am going to try to design such a thing. Now I want a regular hopper. Currently only have a bunch of graded hoppers, and my inventory is quite full. Need to get rid of some blocks and junk. I also have a stack of fish that I don't really need at the moment. Those don't need to be there. Put the fish in instead. The empty balls, I can put them in my apothecary's backpack. So Ash is suggesting to destroy the overflowing wheat, but I don't want to do that because it takes resources to produce, namely appetite. So I'm not going to do that. I'm simply going to stop the flow of items to the moistener to keep it from filling up. Now I can keep inputting seeds because they only go into the seed slot, but I need to stop the inputting of wheat because of course that is what is clogging it. So if we look in here, you can see that we have the ducts clogged. There's seeds spread out. Now I'm going to put a actually I'm going to clear out a little more space here. And I'm going to have ducts. Actually, I tried putting a comparator on the moistener, but that does not work. So the idea is that I'm going to divert this duct and have the graded hopper. Now, does does this resist having items put into it? If they don't match the filter? So if I put some seeds in that filter there, is this going to be allowed to output them? It doesn't. That's weird. Does the graded hopper not accept items? Did it only accept items from the top? If I put that there, okay, oh. If I put that in there, nothing is going to happen. If I put that there, okay, then it works. And it did output it into here. I'm not entirely sure. What? Oh, maybe it only outputs items that are in the filter. Interesting. Could I use that to... Okay, so if I... Whoops. That's not what I wanted. What does this contain? Seeds. Let's turn that there. It's going to block that completely. And then I can take these seeds out without them refilling. Put that in there. I wonder if this looks at stack sizes as well, or if it's like the sorting machine, or if it just looks at the item itself. So, I guess what I'll do, or what I'll try first, is say if I do this, and then have that connect to there, and then I'm going to have seeds here and wheat here. So now what will happen when I reconnect that? So wheat should be flowing in there. Yeah. Now that gets... This should start filling up with wheat. I wonder if it corresponds to the slot as well, or will all of the slots fill up with wheat? That actually kind of matters as well. Guess we'll see that rather shortly. Any seeds that come in get output into here. Okay, no, all of the slots can fill up, which I guess means that this will fill up with wheat as well. Which also means that this will eventually fill up with wheat too, because the wheat vastly outnumbers the seeds. So what I need is a way to stop the wheat. I guess the best solution might be to have a separate duct for each, because the biggest problem I think is that this duct is has mixed seeds and wheat in it, which makes this bit a bit tricky. But if I stop one of them, both will stop. Although the ratio of wheat to seeds should be relatively great on the wheat side. That is, you need a lot more wheat for the seeds. I'm not exactly sure what the ratio is, though. Should also go fix the water flow, because that is kind of crucial to a number of things. And then replace that. And now water should be flowing again. Or not. Did this break? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Usually it's the one by the barrel that breaks. So now we should have water flowing all the way around the base again. This should be running, but it still can't output. So I wonder, I need to test, whoops. I need to test if okay, that actually looks like it's working. Yeah, so a comparator works on the graded hoppers. And, oh, it actually looks like that contains all of the wheat that was blocking the duct. But the issue is still that it will clog the top it will clog the top hopper eventually. Okay, need some redstone. But I can make it stop the lower hopper, keep it from inputting if the hopper is too full. Although that's not going to work, is it? Because then it will just get stuck. What I really need is to read the contents of this, which I can't. Unless I were to use a computer to do so. Because if I used a computer with an inventory controller, I could check the slots exactly to tell what's inside and then move items in as needed. But that feels kind of like overkill for this thing. It would be preferable if there was an analog, let's say mechanical way of doing it. And unfortunately, these separate ducts don't really solve the problem of inputting too much wheat into here, because it's still going to input as much wheat in here as it can, and I can't control this inventory at all like this, and I can't read it. I can't use the output in any way to do that. So far, it seems like the only solution is to use a computer. It's still processing. I'm not sure what it's doing. That's okay. Yeah, it goes up to that. It fills that arrow, but it can't fill this arrow because it's full. Right. So, this is a tricky problem. It would be easy if I just... Actually, no, I don't think destroying the overflowing wheat would help, because it would still fill this up. Unless you figured out the rate it uses it at. No, it is continuing. And then made sure this never overflows, that it gets wheat slower than it is used. That would work, I suppose. Actually, doesn't Super Circuit Maker have an inventory checker? Inventory scanner. But I don't know what that does. Maybe I should find that out. So let's make some of those. Place it on a circuit next to the... well, next to something. And we'll see what it does. I could use some inventory space. I don't have any... These... I guess you can go there. Just need somewhere to stash the torches. And then we have this sand and dirt, which I can get rid of again. So we need a chest of some sort, which I have actually. What was the other thing? Tiny plates. Do I have tiny plates somewhere? I have the circuit. We're going to need one of those. I don't think I have tiny plates. How do you make tiny plates? Oh. So we need 2 of those. We can break that into tiny plates. Then 1 of those. And then we should be able to make 3 of those. Now I also need the circuit maker screwdriver for configuring. So probably could have put away the plates, I suppose, but oh well. Let's place one of these here, and then we are going to place one of you there, and then place some wire. I wish I had a tiny lamp, but oh well. Can I? Okay, so there's nothing, no interaction with that at all. So what does it do? Oops. Is it like a comparator? I can't tell if the wire is actually doing anything. They're probably going to link it to the output and put a piece of vanilla. Okay, yeah, so it's outputting 8, which is the same that the vanilla comparator was outputting. So this is basically a comparator, which is unfortunately not useful. I can't do anything with that. That explains why it's not working for this, because the comparator isn't working for that either. Okay, that's unfortunate. I was hoping that it was a little more advanced than that. Like you could set, like it didn't just use the comparator code. I don't think there's anything else useful in there. This is quite a tricky problem. We're continuing to get seeds. No. There really is no way except reading this. I suppose what you could do, actually, there is one solution. Because actually, well, so when you input one wheat, it goes through this cycle. It becomes decaying wheat. I think it becomes moldy wheat first. Then the moldy wheat becomes decaying wheat, and then the decaying wheat becomes mulch. So if I look at in the moistener here, moldy wheat becomes decaying wheat, and decaying wheat becomes mulch. But it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so one wheat becomes one mulch. So what I could do is I could figure out something that when, because probably the ducts output to a comparator. So what I'll do is I'll connect a circuit from here. So when an item passes through, the pulse is sent to the hopper system, and it turns the hopper on briefly long enough to input one item in here. So it'll keep an amount of wheat in here, and when a mulch is ejected, a wheat piece is put in. And I think that's the simplest solution you're going to get away with. Now, it hinges on, I mean, I guess I could have used the comparator I have. Supposedly. It hinges on comparators being able to read the and they can. Okay, so one item in there outputs a strength of 1, which should be fine. The issue is the duration. So if I disable that, have that point into the wall, connect this, now that is going to end up, that stick ends up in there. And if I put this here again, and I'm going to move this over here for now. I might use that later. So if I put a stick here, how long is the pulse? Wait, what? Oh. Can put that through. So now it's actually of decent length, so it might just work like this, really. Although I need to invert the signal because I want the hopper to be turned off all the time unless something passes through here. Now the other problem is it's going to output mycelium as well sometimes, which means that occasionally 2 items will pass through, and this will count twice, or it will input. Yeah, so there's some mycelium got output. Now if I take some wheat out of here, since the hopper is being powered, it should not refill it. Still don't know if this matters, if there are multiple items in the filter does anything, but you can see that it keeps these 3 stacks in here for now. So the easiest solution to that is to have, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have filtered hopper underneath here, and we're going to have it only output mulch, and then I'm going to have another hopper underneath that is only going to output mycelium. Actually, I think I might as well make that any kind of hopper. But then the hopper underneath can extract anything. And I'm actually going to break this for now until I've linked or set everything up. So I need a piece of mulch. Actually, I have one here. Actually, does the filter affect extracting as well? I guess it does. That's could be slightly problematic. I'll probably also split the ducts so that we have one wheat duct and one seed duct, so that they can get backed up all the way to here without blocking the other item. Because the wheat duct is going to get blocked first. So now we're going to observe this for a little bit. Unfortunately, it's kind of slow. Probably remove that. But what should happen is that it should keep the wheat at 3 stacks when one is when a piece of mulch is output, it's going to put in another piece of wheat. I guess I can just keep this at 1 stack, really. I mean, the amount doesn't really matter as long as it has... Well, it could just be empty. It does have a backlog of decaying wheat, though. But as long as it inputs another piece of wheat, as long as when it outputs the mulch is currently making, it should work fine. I don't think it's working. It is ending up in the right place, but it doesn't actually seem to be pulsing. I might need a signal extender here, which I can most likely make with Super Circuit Maker to keep it compact. And then I can also fit the inverter into there. But yeah, currently this does not seem to be working correctly. Let's throw those out so we don't have to keep track of them. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this doesn't even blink. I'm not sure why. If I put this through... Oh. I see. Right. I'm dumb. It does work. But... it... only outputs a single strength of 1. So the pulse never reaches the torch. Hopefully this will work. The signal won't come up here, but if this is facing into that block properly, then the signal should go through anyway. Okay, no. Apparently it doesn't. What could fix that, however, is a repeater directly after the... I mean, I guess I could just Super Circuit Maker it. We'll continue this in the next episode, I guess. This was a little trickier than I expected, but we do have a working solution. Just need to implement it. Also make sure that the mycelium... Oh, it doesn't actually extract it. So this doesn't output or pull items that are not in the filter. Okay, so we're going to have to do something different for that. But again, next episode. So I will see you then.